Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Knox. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, by my steamy, hot, spicy, sweaty, musky, wet co-host Alexander Volz. Say hello.
Put on deodorant, still musky. For you, those of you watching on YouTube, this is my world is ending look. It is basketball shorts purchased at Ross, cut off
for less.
Prince tee, and a bandana to cover my face when I go outside. The floor is literally lava today.
It's pretty bad. Also, this is Every Album Ever the podcast. What?
Also, warning: we might hit a blackout.
We had a little bit of a powers in and out, and we might, if this episode ends abruptly and it picks up in an awkward spot, you know what happened. This is Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. It's a new discography, more or less, per episode. And today we are talking about
Fugazi.
Dude. Fugazi is my Beatles, all right? So be prepared. Shit. If you say one bad word about them, I will cold cock you immediately.
I got a few.
I will fucking kill you. Alex, I will kill you. Okay. I
got a few bad words, but not too many.
Yeah. I'm glad. What the fuck were we talking about? Something about plugs. Yeah, so if you want to help us, because I'm sure you do after this insane and very, very hot intro. Support us. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts. I'm losing my fucking words. Spotify. Fucking tell a friend, Instagram, share clips, do whatever you want, or you can do none of it and keep listening because that is also good for us as well. God damn it. Why is everything going out? If you're watching the video, I'm messing with my little TV screen.
Going to be the greatest episode ever or the worst episode ever?
I'm already liking it. I'm already liking it. You should definitely follow me on Instagram at Pope Jesse Ventura and Alex at
Mother Puncture.
Every week we'll be posting the artists that we're currently covering. So if you want to send us emails, DMs, thoughts on that artist, we can read it on the pod, stuff like that. It's all cool. And of course, there should be a link to a Spotify playlist on Fugazi in the description of wherever you're listening or watching. We got playlists associated with every single goddamn episode, all the way from episode 1, Yellow, from 1970. What year did we start this podcast?
We did start in 1973, and we were young men when it started.
Unlike now, no, we're still young men. We're young, we're virile, we're very alone. So deal with that, or not. But Fugazi. So this one was requested by Mike. I swear to God, it's not me.
Yes,
a different Mike. But thank you, because this is one of the top 5 most important bands in my life, I must say.
I think they're an important band in general. Before going into this, I didn't realize how popular they were because of the documentaries they've done. I just saw them playing like youth centers and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like fucking basketball courts and stuff.
Yeah, but in researching this, man, they could play like 2,000 seat venues.
They could do anything at the highest level.
Yes.
And it's astounding. Like, I love them musically. Obviously, we'll get into that more specifically. But ethically, I have trouble thinking of very many artists that even come a fraction close to what these guys did. When it comes to their musical integrity, their professional integrity, their love of music, their it seems adamant nature to avoid money. Like they just keep avoiding money on purpose.
Some people would say militant. Let me run through some Fugazi rules.
Okay.
No set list.
No merch.
No moshing. Shows would never be more than $5.
Never.
And they practice 4 to 6 hours a day, 4 days a week.
All of that absolutely bled through their music.
Yes.
And through their legacy. Every single one of those things is insane by normal standards. Well, maybe not the practicing thing. If you want to be good, can't practice that much. But everything else, they would frequently, I don't remember which one of the members said it, but he said, for every one show that we did, we turned down 50 others because they wouldn't follow our rules.
Yes.
Like, if you're going to charge $30 a ticket, we're not doing it. Just simple as that.
Yeah, that's something I want people to think about, because we'll bring it up towards the end when we talk about the possible future of Fugazi.
Yeah. So as of right now, they have been on a quote unquote indefinite hiatus.
The most bullshit hiatus.
This is we broke up, but we don't want to let go completely. It's like a really, really sad marriage, except like they all still hang out and they play together. They still play together privately, but they just don't play shows.
It's like when your parents are separated and they live in the same house, but they're sleeping in different bedrooms.
Seeing other people.
Yeah. Just call it.
But I do like that. Never say never. Who knows what'll happen? We still love each other very much. We're still gonna make music if we can. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I like that. But it's been 19 years since the last album. I feel like.
I think also, never mind the band members. I thought we were going to talk about it at the end. Never mind the band members doing it. I think there's a lot of logistical problems.
Yeah.
Because the demand would be so huge.
Their legacy has become so beloved that
I don't know how you do $5 shows.
Inflation you could adjust, but
and I don't know how like these shows just aren't the most chaotic things ever because I don't know. I mean, like I'm trying to wrap my head around how that would even happen because they've been offered just lots of money,
the most ridiculous amounts of money to just
Coachella money,
just to do one show. And like, if we wanted to do a show, we do a show.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be the money that does it, which is, I kept reading that from every band member at different points. Mm-hmm. They would each say, it's not going to be the money that does it. It's because we want something, we have something new to say.
Yes.
And we have the time to do it. And we think we can, it's good for everybody in the band. And like at this point, it's so much not about what fans want. It's just about what they want as grown old men now. Yes, they're like all pushing 60. They all have families. Like absolutely. God bless you. Yeah. Don't ever do it again if you don't fucking want to.
Hypothetically, if they did get back together, I feel like one, it'd have to be a festival which violates the sheep.
Yeah.
And then two, how do you enforce no moshing at something that size?
Well, even toward the end there, they kind of like...
They loosened up
a little bit because like...
I wish more bands would do that. Like, I love that Tool doesn't have like a pit area. It's just chairs.
That's cool. It's also a different kind of band.
Yeah.
And with Fugazi, did you watch the Instrument documentary?
No, it's been a long time.
So I was watching it today, and that was the first time I'd seen it since I was a kid. And it's very, very lengthy. It's very cool. If you're a fan of Fugazi, it's a definite must. But if you're not, it's not going to make a fan because it's the way it's shot. It's very long and like spacey and psychedelic, kind of almost psychedelic. But there's a lot of old live footage, and some of it is so fucking fascinating and fun to watch because you hear about these stories how people were getting too aggressive in the crowd. They'd stop the show and they'd say, "Hey, you, I'm talking to you. What are you doing? Knock it off." And if they did knock it off, they would have him kicked out, refunded his money, and which is also refunding their money. Who the fuck does that? Like they would, every person they would kick out. They had, I don't remember where I heard this. I heard it years back. It might've been in, our Back of Your Life. They had like last week we did Butthole Surfers. They had a beefy chapter on them in there. There's another beefy chapter on Fugazi in that same book. It might've been that one where one of them said they had just piles of envelopes with $5 in them to give to people in case they were kicked out. Like they were already prepared to give refunds.
Yeah.
Which is, my goodness. So in the reason I brought it up in the doc, it's hardly a documentary too. It's more like just a movie, but there's a scene where they stop the show and Ian and Guy are grabbing a guy from the front row with a leather jacket and dragging him on stage, like pulling him up on stage. And I couldn't figure out if it was a bad thing or was a good thing. And Ian gets him in a headlock and he has the microphone. He says, "I don't like being spat on at my shows. So do you apologize?" And the guy is fucking wasted. This guy is hammered and he's screaming, "Right on!" It's like, "Do you apologize?" "Right on! Do you apologize?" "Right on!" He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." And he moves him out and the security grabs him and they throw him out. And the crowd erupts because it was just hilarious. And like, how often... Oh, and then Guy grabs the mic and he says that's just frontier justice. That's what we do here. Yeah. Like, I've never seen any band do that. Never, like, they really policed their own shows and took matters into their own hands. And it was never violent. They were just like, "No, fuck you. Don't be an asshole or get out."
Yeah. I wish more bands would do that because I kind of get the appeal of moshing if you're in your early 20s, but after that, everyone needs to cut this shit out. It's not fun for anybody except the 20 or 50 people being assholes.
Yeah, and my experience at punk shows and metal shows, but more punk shows, the people, I mean, because you get however many people want to mosh and pit and stuff, and there's always, usually it's like one guy who's the instigator, like one guy who's really, really mad about his day or his life or his parents or whatever.
That's the other thing. It's not like, it's not like a communal thing anymore. It's just these assholes.
Sometimes it is, honestly. Like sometimes, like kind of universally, if you fall, everyone picks you up, kind of thing. But usually there's one guy. Sometimes there's more than one guy, and those two guys go at it where they're just really punchy and they just grab shirts. Like, you grab my fucking shirt, you're getting punched in the face. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just don't grab my shirt.
Or they're trying to drag people in who are like clearly want no part. Like Like, why would that change their fucking mind? Yeah. Whatever.
But I totally
a bit.
I would hope. That I totally get that, like, just relax, and they don't I think a little bit of the misconception with Fugazi is, like, I don't think they stop people from dancing, or like I think they stop the people who are really aggressive about it.
The thing that gets me more than moshing, because it's like it's almost confined, is the people who push their way to the front.
Oh yeah.
That is way more disruptive, I think.
Yeah, the pillagers, dude. Those guys who steal spots. If you weren't there early, dude, accept your fate in the back.
Exactly.
There was I don't remember. He was a member of a band. He told us. I saw a little quote of his about Fugazi. It was very cute. Not really cute, but whatever. He was at a show and he was in the crowd, and there was like friends of Fugazi from DC had driven up to wherever it was, and they were actively stopping people from dancing. Whoever started. Like actively like, hey, fucking knock it off. And this guy was so fucking furious by that. Like, he wrote Ian an angry letter in red ink. He said, saying like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, it's like, you're promoting the same thing you say you're against, like the whole fascist mentality of like controlling. And he said, we didn't know they were doing that. We didn't tell them to do that. I'm sorry about that. And then he basically reiterated what we already said, which is like, if they're being violent and aggressive, then sure, but not going to like force people to do anything.
Yeah.
Man, this band is easy to talk about. This is a very easy band to talk about.
Also, we didn't even talk about that. We covered Minor Threat how many years ago?
17
years ago. We covered Minor Threat, and this is
Minor Threat. What was that episode? Fucking 49 or something.
This is almost like the last thing I'll say before we do the rundown. It
was episode 49 for sure.
Like a Washington, D.C. supergroup.
Yeah.
Minor Threat, Rites of Spring, and some other band I'm forgetting.
Happy Go Licky. Happy Go Licky had drummer Brendan Canty and Guy Picciotto.
Dude, Brendan Canty, one of the most overrated drummers ever. You think over?
No. You said over. Under for sure. I've been saying that for years. He is
one of the best drummers ever.
He is absolutely fucking amazing. It's easy to kind of lump him in with the rest of Fugazi, because everybody in Fugazi is really good.
Oh yeah.
But I think in certain albums, certain songs, he shines so bright, so very bright.
He's so inventive and fun and just amazing.
Yeah. So bassist Joe Lally, he was a roadie, I think, or he went on tour with some DC band, I forget which. And by the end of it, he was like, I want to play bass. I want to play bass in a band. And he tried, a few people. And then Ian was like not looking for a band, I think, at the point, because I talk about.
Or he's in Embrace.
I've talked about Embrace before. Embrace essentially created emo along with Rites of Spring. They called it emo core back then. It was just emotional hardcore. Emo turned into certainly a very different thing later on. But Embrace was a really good band. They had one self-titled album that I highly recommend that album. It's fucking really good. And Embrace was I know it's a very boring backstory, Alec. I'm sorry this fucking amazing DC history is boring.
Take a nap over.
That's what you get. That's what you fucking get.
That's what I fucking get.
His headphones fell off, by the way, when he said that.
This is a literal hot mess.
It's a hot one.
7 inches from the midday sun.
God bless you. So Embrace was Ian on vocals with the band, all the other members of the band The Faith, which was coincidentally led by his younger brother Alec. The Faith is a hardcore punk band, a very good band. But anyway, they broke up. I don't know why they broke up, but I know it was messy. Whatever it was because like I think all the members were already still pissed off at each other from The Faith. They broke up. The Faith broke up for a reason. They were already mad at each other, and then Ian pretty much just got them all back together again. And that they played like 15 shows, I think. So it wasn't like they didn't last very long. And he was cynical from bands, and he just wanted to be around people he liked. He liked Joe Lally, so they started playing together. And what was very surprising to me that I learned was Joe was just learning bass at the time, I think.
Oh, wow.
And he is fucking really good.
No, he is like so many bands are based around guitar and vocal, and you take the bass out of Fugazi, it's not
Fugazi.
It's not Fugazi. It is driven by the bass, at least for 2/3 of their career.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing that I didn't put it in my head till way later in the discography is that Ian and Guy are, his name looks like it says, his name is not Guy, it's spelled Guy, but it's pronounced Guy. They are the most brilliant layerers. So it's most songs, if you really kind of break it down, it's like Joe doing this really funky bass line, Brendan being very tight together, and then Ian throwing this one layer on this one weird guitar line, and then Guy throwing another guitar line over that, and then the way it all meshes, it's beautiful. It's a perfect storm.
They're the most Washington DC band ever, because I talked about it on the Minor Threat episode, but there's also like a very DC funk genre called go-go, which all the punk guys loved in DC. So this is like really, like, I think Ian said he wanted to make a band that sounded like the Stooges with reggae.
Yeah.
And I think he succeeded in doing that. And yeah, you can hear the go-go, you can hear the punk. What Minor Threat did for punk is what Fugazi did for post-punk.
Yeah, post-hardcore, I think is what people call
whatever.
Them. Dude, any genre with the word post in front of it, I'm immediately checked out. Even if, I love a lot of that music.
Yeah.
I'm probably more than most music.
It's not like a label. I'm going to be like, oh, it's post-punk. Let me hear that.
So what it does is things like post-rock, post-punk, post-hardcore, they try to, they're labels made for bands that really can't be labeled, which really bothers me. Like, I don't want to label them. Why would you? Yeah,
it's kind of like these bands that have aesthetics of the genre, but they're not interested in playing that music. So,
like, for example, Sigur Rós and Godspeed You Black Emperor are both considered post-rock. Couldn't be two more different bands.
Yes.
You would never think they're the same genre if you listen to both bands back. Like that's why I don't like post labels. Or labels in general, really, but
or Post Malone, really. Just get out of here.
Yeah, just anything post office, get the fuck out. But Fugazi, in their lifespan, released 6 actual full-length albums, I believe.
You're in charge of that, and
hold on.
I don't know.
3, 4, I think. So 6 actual albums. The first 2 EPs were compiled into basically an album. So that one's technically the 7th, and then. They also have a soundtrack for the documentary that we were talking about, and that would be the 8th. So we're going to be covering 8 albums total. First EP was released in 1988, last album 2001. I suppose it is as good a time as any to jump in.
It is.
We've been fucking gabbing away. So this is the first 2 EPs. This is 13 songs, 1989.
And if you've heard Fugazi, this is the song.
It is. This is their most famous song, and that outrages me. It outrages me. I'm not even kidding. I like this song a lot, but it fucking outrages me. Already some very strange arrangement choices, and it's already way more interesting than any punk song.
The first time I couldn't believe this was like the same guy from Minor Threat. Like,
ever heard Fugazi, it was this song. I'm assuming it had to have been.
If you're not familiar with this song, you're not going to know any of the other songs we play.
Ian still has his very charming mush mouth going on.
Yes.
Which never goes away. No. Christ.
This song.
All right. You want to get up?
That song features a lot of, it's like a very meta thing to do in music, to say stop and then have the music stop. Or a lot of elements. 2 bars in this.
Yeah.
A full
stop.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating. It's a great song.
It's something they do throughout
their arrangement is unmatched and also least favorite.
Damn, son.
And here's the thing. I have a
look at Mr. Indie can't like popular shit over here.
Here's the thing. This is so not indicative of what they will become one album from now. It's like,
really? I think this and the next one are
not even close. Not even close. Night and day. And this is, so here's why, one of the reasons why I strongly feel that way. I bought this album when I was 12, and I was a big hardcore punk fan. I loved Ian from Minor Threat, obviously. And my brother kept saying, Fugazi, dude, you just got to try it. Like, you just got to listen to it. Like, I haven't heard him. You buy it.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And I remember being at Tower Records back, because we're 7 years old, and being like at a crossroads. I was like, I want this Fugazi album, or I want Danzig's first album, because I was a big Danzig fan.
Oh, as a kid, I'm going Danzig.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Normally I would have. Yeah. And if I had bought the Danzig album, I would have fucking loved it, because that's my favorite Danzig album. But I decided to go with Fugazi. And I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed, because I like Waiting Room. It's a great song. And this is objectively pretty good. Guy's voice on this entire fucking thing makes me want to pull my hair out. It turned me off completely. I thought he had the dumbest, most annoying, obnoxious voice. I hated the way he sang. I hated everything about him. And he's on 6 out of the 11 songs on here.
And you're yelling at me at the beginning that I can't throw haymakers, and you're coming out shitting on one of the most beloved.
And guess what? I love this man. I love Guy Picciotto. I think he has a fucking great voice. After this, I become a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
On Give Me the Cure, he almost sounds British on that song.
He's got this weird inflection on everything. And you know what? Put on Bulldog Front, because it's the second track for one.
I think you just don't like songs with Bulldog in the title.
That's a callback to Butthole Surfers' Lonesome Bulldog, which is a bad song.
And you hear
just listen to Guy. Come on, tell you don't want to punch him in the face.
It's a vocal choice that would annoy me in a lot of other bands, but I think it's fun. Like, I don't know. Some bands, they just get away with things I wouldn't allow from other bands.
No, I totally get that. But the thing is, as a kid, I was not willing. And as I got older, I liked it a lot more. And then the reason why this is my least favorite is because even though I fucking still like so many of these songs so much, just it feels so poppy and like teenagery.
I mean, it is poppy. I feel like that is not a traditional pop, but more friendly stuff you could play in front of normies. It's kind of
you definitely could, but other albums they still have songs like that would do the job better. I feel like, because I was so turned off by this album as a kid that I didn't even want to buy more. And here's the thing. Finally, when I did finally cave and buy another one, I was like, oh, they're the best band in the world. Hold on. I was so mad that I started with this one. Like, God damn it.
This is a fan maker. This is why most people...
Fan maker, how dare you?
This is why most people love Fugazi. It is listed up there with, like, Nevermind in terms of influence.
And it also bothers me that this is what people kind of harken back to as the glory days of Fugazi. Like, oh man, they started. I used to like them. They suck now.
Those people are wrong.
Completely wrong.
To me, their whole career is their glory days.
Absolutely. I felt they only got better as they went along. So if we're using the death logic, episode 23, probably it's been a long time. A band who just kept getting better as they went along.
Yeah.
Clearly the earliest is the weakest, but this is the only one where I feel like this doesn't even feel like the same band. Like there's still elements. Obviously they sound like the same guys, but like the writing is different. You could tell here that it's Ian writing all the songs.
Oh yeah.
You could definitely tell that.
It was. That's part of how they changed. It went from Ian presenting them with songs to it becoming a more of a democracy thing. So
by the next album, they were all writing together. And here also, Guy was not on second guitar. He was just on backup vocals and regular vocals. Because from what I know of the backstory, he wanted to be in the band, but he knew he had no place. He's like, you guys are great. You guys are doing, I'm just going to hang out with you guys. And then he would just like sing along and like do hype man stuff. Yeah. He was so influenced by hip hop.
Yeah.
That finally he just started singing with them and they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Come on board. Just start singing with us.
You'll be our Flavor Flav.
Yeah. Which is hilarious to think of a punk band with a hype man, which is what that's what they were.
It's great. Cause Mike is such a negative Nancy. I really like And the Same. And Promises is really epic.
Promises is one of their best songs. It's absolutely incredible.
I'm glad you feel that way.
Even as a kid, I was like, this song is the best. This is the best song ever.
We talk a lot about strong openers.
Yeah.
Fugazi are the kings of closers. I think
getting chills.
8 out of 10 times their closers are fucking amazing.
And they never seem to repeat the style of closer.
No,
like it's not always just like one big dramatic thing. Sometimes it's something completely opposite. Sometimes it's something way upbeat and fast and crazy. Sometimes it's something completely mellow, completely not dark at all, not aggressive. It's just really tasteful, like really smart songwriters and arrangers.
They are amazing arrangers.
One thing about this band that you see more or hear more as you go along, it really is a perfect band because it's a bold statement. And I'm sure it sounds like a total fanboy, which I am. So fuck you guys. But it's every member doing their part the best they can and all of them wanting the same thing.
Yes.
And I think that's like when you hear about big blow-ups with bands or bands that are kind of, really implode, it's because there's just differing, different creative choices and
all that.
Yeah. This one, they all wanted the same thing from beginning to end, and it really shines. It's crazy how much something like that can really bleed through. But
I would agree with that.
Other things that I like, Suggestion, I think is pretty legendary.
Yeah, that's like a big song of theirs, and it's so weird because it's written from the perspective of a woman walking down the street, and how men objectify her.
It's a total anti-rape song. It's a total maybe I
have to go. I didn't pick up. Didn't go.
They've gone on record. Completely anti-rape, completely anti-objectification of women. It's like it's like the feminist anthem. Which is a weird thing to hear when you're 12. I was like, this is interesting.
But I was reading on Genius about the lyrics, and I guess there's some blowback.
From who? People who like rape? I'm confused.
No, just like what's the word for it? Like punk feminist girl. Like
tell them to fuck themselves. Dude.
This is riot girls would.
Dude, they can go fuck themselves. This is completely like.
I will not tell them that. I don't want that. I don't want that smoke.
I don't give a fuck, dude. Go fuck yourself, dude. Like I stand by this band so much, and like if you look at old footage of Ian kind of talking to the crowd, by today's standards, it's almost pandery because of how fucking progressive it is, and how much like. It's obvious to us now, like, no shit, these people deserve rights. But like back in the late 80s, it wasn't quite as obvious. There's one.
Some people would still call you a snowflake.
I think there's a very vocal minority. But there's footage of him. It was for Suggestion. He kind of changed the lyrics because he to be about anti-gay bashing violence. I don't know. Because there had just been an article published about these people like attacking gay people at a park or something like that. And he was going on about like, what the fuck's wrong with you? How dare you kind of thing. And you don't get it from the footage, but I learned later on like supplemental information from some other guy. He said there was the article that Ian was talking about. It was skinheads who were kind of like bragging about getting rid of all the racist skinheads, all the Nazis from the scene or from the area. And they were like really proud of that. It was those same guys who were attacking the gay people. So it's like this incredibly hypocritical thing. Like how do you stand with one group but not the other? You are exactly what you hate if you're doing that.
Yeah. And then another thing they're ahead of the curve on is Burning 2, a song about climate change, which in 1989.
Oh yeah.
People were talking about the ozone burning, but not so much like, it was there, but not real prevalent. But yeah, they're covering that here. So
I hope that's not a sequel to Burning, that song. It's called Burning. It's spelled T-O-O.
There's a lot of like playful wordplay throughout their career.
Yeah, it seems a little more playful than an actual Unforgiven 2 situation. Both Burnings, I think, are great. The first Burning is a lot more like driving and angry. I think it's one of the few songs where I like Guy's voice on it. But Burning 2, I've always liked that one a lot more. Yeah,
I don't think the first Burning has to do with climate change. So it's like a little jokey thing.
So I'm actually glad we've been talking more about the record as a whole, because like I have thoughts on damn near every single song, but there's just a few takeaways that are important, like how out of the gate tight everything is. And I remember reading that I think they played together for like a year before their first show just to make sure they were fucking immaculate, and that's a fuck, man, the dedication is just so admirable. And it sounds like it. They're really, really fucking tight, super funky. They're the most funky on this record.
Yes.
By a long shot. Like the reggae elements are more prevalent. And you know me, I fucking hate reggae, but like it's not reggae. It's just really, really funky punk. It feels
they use elements of reggae, like stuff from dub reggae. And they don't go full like Jawmon.
No. That would be fucking,
because really they're smart and they know not to do that.
They really are. But this is a version of the band that I think it feels like only existed here, because as soon as they add the second guitar, which we're about to start talking about, it's a whole new world. It's a whole new world. So my least favorite, although I still enjoy it from time to time, still.
It's a fucking liar. Fucking hates it.
I don't hate it.
Came out hot.
I don't hate
He's a hypocrite.
I just think Guy sounded weird. I think he sounded weird here.
He gave me shit for hypothetically maybe talking shit about Fugazi.
I did. I said I would hit him. That's true.
And then he came out the gate talking shit about Fugazi.
I'm a hypocrite too.
Never forget that, people.
I also attack gay people in the park. I'm a giant hypocrite.
I wasn't going to go there.
Wait. Have you heard Right to Spring?
No.
So I haven't heard him since I was like an early teenager, a kid, but I do remember liking his voice there too. So it's like only this record where I don't like him.
And people better believe we're going to cover that band eventually.
Of course.
And we'll get around to him.
Hell yeah. But until then, we are going to move on to the first actual record. This is 1990s Repeater.
I think these, however you want to divide them up into EPs or whatever, I think, or albums as most people will listen, I think they're like great little companion pieces, 1-2 punch.
3 songs is an EP that's included on the streaming version of this. And that is on here as well. We'll obviously gonna be talking about that, but for now I'll shut up.
But yeah, this is very different,
and I'm already getting chills. More loving it.
I'm gonna sneeze real quick.
Away from the mic.
Or not. No, it's fake out.
Legalize is reaching to turn off the alarm. And there's never so much seething. That it can't be designed to just stop it up, pass it on. Something to leave it
man. Okay. All right.
Great song.
Let's talk.
Now
Great
I'm
song.
going to be a little hypocritical because on the Elliott Smith or various other bands I've trashed, I complain about how they sing about very boring, mundane things,
Right.
and they can't make it interesting or into songs they care about. Fugazi does not have that problem. This is a very the lyrics are very mundane, but the music, like, there's nothing mundane about the music, and it's a great song.
Personal favorite. I really, really, really love this album.
Yeah,
This feels like a perfect album to me, honestly.
I mean, yeah, these accolades could, or the positive accolades could be divvied up a number of ways.
Yeah, this was hard for me. This was very difficult. Like growing up, I always considered this one the best. And then when I came down to it, I thought, like, it's just me though. Like, I mean, it obviously any one of these can be considered the best, but like, fuck, man. There's a power thing. There's a power thing.
Are we still live?
We are still live.
All right.
It's gonna get hot though.
It's gonna get
real hot. AC is taking a beating.
Yes, it is.
Hold on. Actually, let me check my battery.
Oh,
That's another one. That's me changing the album cover by mistake. Hold on, everyone. It's hot, everyone. All right. I'm blaming for this. Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. So
you can just edit all that out.
I'm not gonna.
Oh, all right.
I mean, we do what we gotta do, man. What the fuck was I saying? This album being very good.
Yes.
The pacing, I think, is on this album. I think the pacing is completely unmatched, especially in their discography. Really, every song just stays the right amount of time. Every time there's something a little bit slower, they speed it up in the next track. Everything. I mean, I'm getting all fucking tongue tied. That's how flustered I am. That's how much I love this goddamn record. Like, where is my track list? Doesn't matter. Blueprint comes in at a time. It comes in after what is it? Brendan #1, the instrumental. So like,
comes in after Merchandise.
Merchandise. That's right. So I'm gonna talk about the first, fucking Merchandise is track 3, right?
4.
Okay, here we go. The first 4 tracks, it's just so fucking brilliantly done. So opening track, Turnover, slow, brooding, fucking angry. And then second track, title track, the repeater, fast, angry, aggressive, fucking crazy.
A staple in their, yep.
Track 3, Brendan #1, right?
Yes.
Instrumental.
Yes.
So it just goes that way. Fucking Guy, Ian, instrumental. Guy, Ian, or like something like that. It's just like the way it alternates between the two. Everything always feels like it's just a new person throwing in a song. It's fucking every song is refreshing.
It is. I really like. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. Repeater and 2 Beats Off. It's almost like an alternative universe, like where Rage Against the Machine is more indie because they're very funky. There's these like angry parts, and the production isn't as sleek, but it's still as a Rage Against the Machine, but it's still real good.
I think the production is perfect for this band.
You could definitely hear how they paved the way for a band like earlier Modest Mouse stuff.
Yeah.
With the shrieking, the weird guitar parts, the very rhythmic parts, it all comes together in a very, very perfect way.
So the inclusion of a second guitar is such a huge difference. Like the guitar interplay off the bat is extremely impressive. Like the way I imagine Guy and Ian's guitars, it's like one guitar player split into 2 people. Yeah, because of how
the way they play.
It's like they read each other's minds. It's so phenomenal how sometimes one guy is just scraping the strings, and that's the riff. And then one guy will do this really driving, really melodic thing on top of that scraping, and it works perfectly. It's this weird thing that you can't really replicate in a lab because it's just two guys who really knew each other well, who knew how to play with each other. It's just it's all chemistry. This entire band is chemistry.
If people want an example of that, I would point to Stiff-Fisted Fun.
Oh, Stiff-Fisted Fun?
That is a great example of how tight these guys are.
That
playing
song,
together.
that riff is so you know what to fucking do.
Electricity's like, fuck you guys, and Mike's like, no, we're taking our time.
Goddamn right. Solid riff on its own, but as soon as the guitar and bass come in, it's a whole new game.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And again, amazing bass.
Oh, I love this song so much. Ah, goddamn. Okay. Another good example is, I believe it is Merchandise, because that was one of the earlier tracks. I think Ian wrote that. And if you listen to the Fugazi's first demo, which I actually bought because I didn't even know it existed, and I saw it in a record store and I bought it. It's on there, and it's a little different. That version sounds like it should have been on the first EP or the second EP.
Yeah.
This version is the perfect evolution from the style of the first one, where it has like the super galloping guitars, really funky sounding. And actually put on Merchandise for me, please. It's just so driving. You want to move when you hear this shit. You just want to move. This is what I think of when I think of Fugazi. Shit like this.
Yeah.
See, one guitar is just hitting bang, bang,
Yeah.
bang, bang. That's the riff. While the other guy is doing the main hook. It's so fucking smart. It's so smart. Yeah, this is one of the most practical. This band really, from beginning to end, is the most practical uses of two guitars in any band.
Get some of that on Styrofoam.
Oh yeah,
Styrofoam's real good.
fun song.
I don't know if any skateboarder has used that as their skate part.
Oh, it fits.
I think
so
they
much.
should. I think that'd be a killer song for a skate
Dude,
part.
there's a live video of Styrofoam
Yeah.
on YouTube. I hope it's still there. I saw it years ago. And it's the beginning of the song, and the camera pans out and then zooms in on one fan. The greatest fan ever.
Nice.
This dude is losing his mind. He looks
Yes, he should.
He looks like a dad.
Yeah.
Big old smile, and he's like fucking. It's the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen. My headphones came off this time. Look up that fucking video, Styrofoam, please. They re-record Provisional from the second EP as Reprovisional. I didn't like it on the EP. I like it here.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. We retread some water with some songs.
Yeah.
Shut the front door. I think that's one of my favorite vocal.
You mean shut the door?
Oh, sorry. Shut the front door.
Shut the front door, Alex.
Shut the door. I think that's one of my favorite vocal performances from Mackaye. Mackaye. I say what I want.
It's Mackaye. I'm going to keep correcting you.
This is my podcast.
Yeah, I'm afraid not, buddy.
50% my podcast.
50% incorrect, you son of a bitch.
This beautiful guitar parts, heavy lyrics.
Yeah. That's one of the most fucking wonderful closers.
And then Joe number 1.
That's on the EP, right? 3 songs?
Yeah. Joe number 1. They're like, we're going to make like is it considered acoustic piano or like
it's a piano on there, right?
It's heavy.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know you could use piano like that. Like Joe number 1. Crazy.
Oh, great song.
Crazy.
But back to Shut the Door, because like technically that's the end of the album.
And then we go into
and then it goes to the EP. One thing I do like about the streaming, I think they did this on the CD version too, but something that not enough bands have done. At the end of the Shut the Door, there was a huge gap of silence to let you know that now we're moving on to something different. This is the end of the album.
Yes.
So I like that they did that, but
that's a nice touch.
Shut the Door is like, it's one of the most therapeutic jammy songs ever. It's like reggae. You know, reggae wishes it was this fucking good. Like, it's not reggae, but it has that vibe to it.
I'm telling you,
chill.
Mike, it
can
be, and that's like the stuff they're pulling from.
Right. I would figure as much. dudes with good taste. I would imagine so. What else is there to fucking possibly say? It's so fluid. It's such a fluid album. Like there's no
any kind fat on this album.
None. It's really short too. Most of the albums are pretty short, but like the way that it dips, it gives you a break is just with a song that's also good, but slower. Like there's no dips in quality. Everything it just runs through like one beautiful song. It's just,
I would agree with that.
Yeah. However, I mean, you kind of got to like fast music, punk to kind of enjoy this. It's like, it's rock perfected kind of. It's not like if you're not going to get any fucking, strays who've never listened to bands like this before. As much as I love it, I can acknowledge that.
But you can get the alt rock crowd in.
Yes.
On Fugazi.
Fucking hope so.
Yeah.
But it's my personal favorite. This is when I bought this album as a kid. I was like, yeah, they are a great, amazing fucking band. Now I love them, and now I have to keep listening to them. It was really this album that did it. It wasn't the first one, strangely. But let's move on to 1991's Steady Diet of Nothing.
Usually we talk about our experiences with the band. We didn't really do that. There's a lot of Fugazi albums I did not listen to, and this is one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it after this, definitely. This song. Killer fucking riff. This has got to be one of the best intros, the best openers I've ever heard.
You think so?
I love this song so much.
I think it's a good song, but
I love this. It's just a fucking powerful way to open an album.
Stop.
Boom.
There's all these bars in between.
Yeah, just hold on. Let's just do a little thing where I hit the rim for a second.
That's like half the song, right?
Yeah.
This is 3-minute access. Straight back aggression. Leave the last place burning.
Okay, before we listen to the whole fucking song, because it's really easy to do that.
This is my worst least favorite.
What?
In the scheme of things.
What? Sorry. Really?
The middle of the album is this kind of weak.
I think the end of the album is weak. I think the middle is pretty fucking great.
I guess middle and end. There's something I like at the end, but in the scheme of things.
Is it KYEO?
Yeah,
that's a good song.
It's one of my favorite Fugazi songs.
It's a pretty good song.
It's about Rodney King. Good guitar playing. I think it's this overall favorite song on the album. Exit Only and Reclamation. Track 2.
Reclamation.
Dope. Everything else, this kind of falls flat.
You're out of your fucking mind that you don't like Nice New Outfit. Dude, I want you to put
That's one of the stronger songs, though.
Dude, the interplay at 1:35 of Nice New Outfit. This gives me goosebumps every time I fucking hear it.
Really tight playing on
1:35.
This. Oh, so sorry.
Damn, so smart.
You're number one with a bullet. That's money well spent.
Man, that's such a fucking great riff and such great interplay. Yeah, really love that song. Oddly enough, I do kind of see where you're coming from because I remember when I bought this album as a kid, I started going out of order with the albums I was listening to. So this wasn't like the third album I heard other stuff. And I came to this one and I was like super let down by it.
Yeah.
It took me a few years to come back to this one and really appreciate it. Because I mean, you don't like Latin roots? What the fuck?
No.
How do you not like Latin roots?
It made me feel weird. I see it does have a star by it on Apple Music, so a lot of people like it.
I don't. What the fuck does it even? What concert? How do you?
I think it
get a star.
The most listened to tracks on the
on
album.
that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Are tracks that people have favorited.
Favorited.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, like this kind of the band doesn't really like this either. Although I could see in the scheme of things, there's one other album I was thinking about giving these things to, but this interested me the least. Everything they did.
I believe they didn't like this one because of the production. This was the first album I think that they produced themselves. And
yeah, there's some growing pains here.
Yeah, and I've heard the original, but I lost it years ago. So the only ones I've heard in the past 10 years have been the remaster. And I think it sounds fucking awesome. But the way one of the members described it, of course I don't remember who, they said that while they were recording this one, they were still like getting comfortable with each other. So they didn't want to step on anybody's toes. So it was like the most egalitarian, like, all right, nobody will be louder than anybody. Everybody will be the same volume.
Yeah.
I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
It was Ian. He said it's a very democratic mix, which ends up being a horrible mix.
You don't want that for mixes.
No.
Sometimes things need to be unjust to be just. But I do agree that it's definitely the writing is a lot weaker. I wouldn't even say a lot weaker. I'll just say it is weaker. I still think a lot of it's really fucking strong. Like
a lot of people like it. It's not, sometimes we give them to legitimately bad albums, but sometimes you're discovering a killer band.
You have to, because that's what we do. I really like Long Division. That bass line is so good it hurts. I love that bass line, especially because it's another thing where they keep doing this where they'll be playing one, like the bass, or let's just say in this example, it's a guitar. The guitar does one hook. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then the bass comes in and it's a whole different song. It's an entirely different song.
Should we just give people a taste?
Please. Because it's Long Division. Subtract and divide. So like, this is like, yeah, okay, it's a fine guitar line. Something special. But then the bass comes in. All of a sudden, it's a different song.
That is good.
Yeah,
that is good.
Joe Lally is so underrated. That guy is a talented bassline writer.
Well, yeah, I think this is the band in general.
Yeah, super talented. Final good things I will give this album before I start to shit on it along with you. Runaway Return, I think, is very, very damn good. And also, another thing about Reclamation, it's like one of the most dubby based songs that they've had. It's so dubby based. Yeah. Cool song, interesting song. But Polish, fucking not for me. Dear Justice Letter, both of them are pretty weak for me.
Those are weak.
And also, I think
that's really. I've said my bad things about.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
One last thing I will say before we move on. I think Guy really shines here. I fucking love his voice in the whole album. I think he sounds great. I think this is like the album where I start to really love him, and I start to love his voice. Because like Repeater, I like him, but like he still has a lot of that he had carried over from the first album. Here, it's a lot more shouty, a lot more screamy, a lot more sounding confident. A lot more confident.
Apparently, that's the vocals emo bands like said, hey, let's focus on that part.
Let's do that and make it way whinier. Way whinier and less good. Although I do like some emo, admittedly. But let's not focus on my shortcomings. Let's move on to the next album. This is a big one. 1993's In on the Kill Taker.
this album had an interesting journey in getting made, and I feel like it had an interesting journey being released and after its release.
I didn't realize until the research and listening for this episode how big this album was.
It's one of their best, I think.
I had no idea. I mean,
I didn't know either.
I've heard it thousands of times, but I didn't know it was this like huge, like culturally and stuff too.
Same. Really great high energy song.
Oh yeah. All right, let's have a little chat now.
So yeah, this was another new album.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that I'm upset I just heard for the first time because it's amazing.
It's a great album.
Originally recorded with Steve Albini.
Yep.
Entirely
scrapped.
Scrapped all of it.
Did you listen to the demos?
I don't know.
Oh, they were available.
Oh, nice.
I listened to them last night or 2 nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what day it is. It's so I thought it was the whole, because what you read online, it's like, oh, they recorded the whole album with Steve Albini for free. He offered to do it for free. It's like a perfect collision of like two beloved underground artists.
Like on paper, it just makes sense.
Perfect. And then they talked about how when they recorded the sessions, it was one of the most satisfying, and it felt the best. Like they said, it was like probably the best session we've ever had. And then when they heard it back, like, what the fuck? This sounds awful. I thought it was the whole album. It's only not the whole album. It's like, shit, I forget. There's only 7 songs or something like that. Either way, it's like 20. It's like a 20-minute demo.
Yeah,
it's not the full thing. Like there's no like instrument is on there. I don't think Last Chance for a Slow Dance is on there. There's like a lot of songs aren't on there, but you listen to it and it's a demo. But even though it's a demo, it still feels like this seems a little rough. You can tell it's Albini recording because of the way the bass sounds. Has a really fucking heavy shellac sounding bass.
I think some of his stuff kind of came through even if he wasn't involved, like on Returning the Screw. I think you can hear some of his work. Yes.
That was actually, I think, the first track on the demo. Before we talk about the stuff individually, other thing about the Albini demo, it's like you feel that it could be amazing, but the drums, like there's something about the bass drum sound, it just fucking muffles everything else. Man. And I think the story went, at least I saw it from one source, that they got the cassette of it, they listened to it the next day, and they're like, oh, this doesn't sound good. And then Steve Albini faxed them saying, I blew it. Like it just said, I blew it.
Nice.
And he takes full responsibility. He's like, they didn't come to me completely prepared. They didn't have the full thing written, but I totally dropped the ball, and I didn't. That was not my best moment in the studio.
Very rare to hear people admit they make mistakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was their first album to chart.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, let's get into the songs.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I love Returning the Screw.
Amazing.
The first 2 songs, like Faucet Squared.
Yeah, Faucet Squared and Public Witness Protection. Sorry, Public Witness Program.
This killer high energy, and then you're like, oh, Returning the Screw. Like, it's great.
So I love Returning the Screw. I think I don't like its placement on the album. I think it would have been like a great opener or a great like 4th or 5th track, but like
it's kind of jarring.
It's jarring. It drops it like all of a sudden, because they've never really done a really quiet stuff before and really slow build up, for a long time, and it's like a long song too. So it's a brand new thing for them stylistically, and it's also the complete opposite of what the beginning of the album feels like. So it's a little disorienting.
I like Smallpox Champion. I feel like the noisy guitars that sound like alarms really suits the lyrical content of Biological Warfare.
Not a fan of that song, but
Get fucked.
it's not bad. It's not bad, but it just compared to how high this album gets, I feel like it's on the lower end.
Rend it.
Another one of the ones I don't care for.
God. I also this kind of melts into 23 Beats Off.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic.
May or may not be about Magic Johnson. I thought that was interesting.
We really?
Yeah, it talks about the AIDS AIDS pandemic in there.
Actually, before we move on,
and then real quick, some people think it's also about the "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" policy and
the army.
In the army.
Really?
So yeah, interesting song. 23s.
23 Beats Off. That main riff is unreal. I want you to put on. It's a minute 42 in.
Minute 42.
So on the Steve Albini demo, the song was a lot less developed, which was interesting hearing it because that riff is like the main part of the song in the old version. This version, it sort of just comes and goes. Ultimately, this is a better version, but that riff is so fucking good.
I got it for you. Cool.
Yeah, this riff
that's real.
Echoed in my head my entire teenage years. That riff just constantly.
And then Mike went on to make Explosions in the Sky.
Sure did.
That's all true. When Sweet and Low comes on, there's, a few noisy elements. And without looking at the track, I'm like, this is a sweet song. And then I was surprised to find out.
It is beautiful. That Sweet and Low, it's the one instrumental, right? It's the only instrumental one here.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot to mention it last album. So Fugazi's big instrumental band, like they always have like one instrumental, like usually one at max two. So it's like a really nice, like, all right, you get Ian, you get Guy, you get instrumental. The last album was the last album to do it completely down the middle. So it would literally be Guy, Ian, instrumental, Guy, Ian. Like, so it would be like exactly everyone had the same amount of songs sung. Starting here, everything always leans for Guy. He always sings at least one more song than Ian, pretty much until the end of the career, which is interesting.
He pulled a Fogarty. Was that who's like, I'll be damned if you have more writing.
Oh no, that's Husker Du.
Oh yeah, Husker Du. Yeah,
Bob Mould said that to Grant Hart.
Yeah,
like, you can't have more than 40%.
Not happening.
I'm sure it was a very agreed upon thing, but like,
I will write 20% more music just to shut you up.
I will calculate it every single time. But that's interesting. You kind of don't notice it, but I did literally calculate that at the end. I was like, I wonder who sung more. But that's just the thing that I noticed. What else?
I think this interesting notes, Great Cop, is like that song was kicking around for like 11 years with Ian before he decided.
Really?
Like he just developed the song over the course, not like every day working, but this was the song that was kicking around there. And finally get it.
Not a fan of that song. That's my least favorite on the album. Yeah.
And as much as I like, the spastic stuff like Repeater and all that, a song like Last Chance for the Slow Dance, I love that side of Fugazi.
Last Chance for a Slow Dance is one of their best. It's so dark and odd. The main riff, it's almost ugly. It's just it's just a very uneasy song. It's very uneasy.
Is that a closer too?
It's a fucking hell of a closer.
Yeah. Sorry. I skipped over instrument.
Great.
Another great example of them being ahead of their times because it's about gentrification. They went to dinner and these punk kids were like bragging about, we live in this edgy neighborhood. And they were just like, fuck you. Yeah.
That sounds like a very Fugazi answer. That song is so damn anthemic and like sing-alongable. And it once again, it comes in at a great time on the album. I do think this is one of their worst paced albums. But the highs are so goddamn high. And like the biggest takeaway I felt from this entire thing was this is where they started doing it's not experimental exactly, but it is like we're gonna start fucking with you.
We're gonna push it a little bit.
We're gonna make these things real long. We're gonna do what we want. We're gonna slow it down. We're gonna make it real fucking uncomfortable and creepy sounding. It's not just gonna be fun loving, high energy punk anymore. We're gonna get some. We're gonna do some cerebral shit. Very cerebral.
Yes, and I really enjoy that side of them.
Hell yeah, my favorite side of them, honestly.
Interesting note before we move on. So breakout record. Labels are going to come a knocking.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Atlantic offered them $10 million in their own label.
They did.
And they said no.
It was at a show, right? Like the rep from Atlantic was waiting for them backstage.
Yes.
I think he said anything you want.
Anything.
Label 10 million. Anything you want. I think it was like at least 10 million. I think it was more. It might have been more.
Yeah.
It was that moment that I realized like these guys are not human. These are not.
No.
These are my people. These are exactly what
10 million, whatever you want, 100% creative control. I don't know what the issue is. Well, I do, because in hearing them speak about the $5 shows, it was like, well, anything more than that, you have expectations we don't feel like we can deliver. $5, if we suck, that's not a big deal.
It's completely just, though. Like, as soon as you become that big, you stop essentially being you. Your band stops being your band. Even if it's on paper, you have creative control. The kind of the culture takes it at that point. It becomes
and again, there's more expectations. Even if it was like we don't expect you to chart in the like top 10. Yeah, it's still the expectations are way different.
And even with like we mentioned it at the beginning, like festival stuff. Even if like
they were offered Lollapalooza.
That's right, Lollapalooza.
I don't know what the ticket price would be for inflation, but Lollapalooza tickets were only $33, which is insanely cheap for a music festival
nowadays.
But maybe within inflation, maybe that was a lot of.
I think inflation plus those things kind of blew up more.
Yeah,
like. With festivals like that, you definitely lose. You can't control ticket price.
No.
So you're expected to be something like that when you're that huge. The fact that they were just like, I guess you don't need it. We don't need the money. And it's not just walking away from absurd sums of money that's impressive. It's that to the very end, they really embody what I love and respect. Period about art is like. If you're an artist, then you're doing it for the art, and you like. It's kind of cliche at this point to say like, "Oh, we're not in it for the money," but like, money's nice. But if you really love your art and you're fine and you're not hungry, then why would you ever compromise a single thing?
Yeah,
a hair should not be compromised.
That makes sense. There's
So they really put someone else's money where their mouth is. Like it's amazing. It's amazing.
There you go.
So now we're on to the next. How fucking long is this episode? All right, long enough. 1995, Red Medicine.
What is this, Neutral Milk Hotel? Heyo.
This is the experimental side of Fugazi.
Which really isn't that experimental.
Not. Any people who left the train on this album are fucking pussies. Although this is taking a while.
This is. Maybe should have time stamped it, but
didn't feel that long when I was listening to the album.
No, we're in it now. Yeah. We're done.
And all of a sudden it's very clean.
And then we're just back to Fugazi.
Back to Fugazi.
I like to think he said, your ass.
Dude, he's got that accent, quote unquote. if you've heard him talk, he's got no sort of weird accent. He's just a normal guy. He's a guy from DC.
It's a normal Guy.
Normal Guy. He's a normal Guy. God, I love this song.
It's a fun song.
Okay. Red Medicine. The album that pissed everyone off.
Which is weird.
Insane. I don't get it. It's a great album. I like it more than the last one.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. Actually, one thing I forgot to mention about the last one is while they were definitely right to re-record it with someone else, I still don't like the production on that one. It's like, it was very big, very echoey. Drums had a lot of space between it, and it kind of makes a band like this mush together more. Here, I think they produced this one themselves, right?
I believe so.
It sounds a lot more like the first two albums, where it's, you know, more contained, tighter. And I think it works a lot better for this band. That's just my opinion, though. But I don't get how this one is called like the experimental album. I don't get it at all.
On some songs, I get it, but I think they still managed to be Fugazi. I love Version, but I wrote down for that some sort of dub dystopian noir.
Version, yeah.
It's like if Blade Runner took place in Jamaica.
That's not bad. Version,
there's a clarinet on there.
Guy's playing clarinet.
There's synths, and somehow, some way, this song fucking works.
Dude, I fucking hate that clarinet so much. It gives me a goddamn headache. However, it's still a fucking really cool song.
It's all the weed smoke.
Maybe. I don't think there's synths on here.
Honestly, thought there was.
I don't think so. No. Because
what did I read?
One thing, I think it's just clarinet.
Yeah, I think there's synths on the album. Maybe that's what I thought.
No, because here's the thing about Fugazi that we didn't mention. They, for a long time, notoriously didn't use synths or pedals or anything like that.
Yeah, it was just
like, and I mean, not even distortion pedals. They would use just the amp distortion, and like most of the time you listen to, like, you kind of don't even notice it because of how connected everything is and how each guitar is doing one different thing, and you never notice it. So when you hear a thing like Version where this fucking blaring clarinet, it's like, oh, that's clearly not a guitar. What the fuck's that? And I think it has like stuff around it, and it's like a more studio effects here. So I get that in the sense of this being the more experimental record, because they really didn't dabble with that before, but everything else is pretty normal. Not normal, but, you know, Fugazi normal.
Bed for the scraping.
Great. Oh, actually, timestamp. Put on 50 seconds.
I love the guitars.
The guitars in this song are incredible.
50 seconds?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm pulling that up. That kind of sounded like the beginning of Goldfinger Superman.
You've been playing too much Tony Hawk, my friend.
Here we go.
That guitar line is...
That's great.
And then you hear the other guitar doing that feedback in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn it. What a great song. What a great song.
I think my barometer for weird is so out of whack, and it's so far down the rabbit hole that I hear a song like Birthday Pony, which I think other people would think is weird. I'm just like, yeah, that's pretty normal.
That's fine.
That's a
fine
normal
song.
day in the office.
And I guess our modern day 2020, pardon the pun, vision of this entire thing is like, if people, when this came out, if they had heard Waiting Room and then they heard this, clearly they'd be like, oh, this is stupid. This sucks. Like, well, first of all, you're a jackass, but like, it doesn't feel that much of a fucking stone's throw away from it, because for example, Forensic Scene.
That song, you know what that song has?
What's that?
Gondola guitars.
Does it have gondola guitars? God damn it. It's once again another example of a bass line starting this thing that seems pretty average and basic, and then one more instrument adds and it's a completely different song. It's so fucking accessible. I hear that and it's the most accessible thing. So a little bit of me gets enraged when I hear this considered a difficult album because there's nothing difficult about this.
Did they work on combination lock with Albini? Because I think there is some big black like guitars in there.
Put on a little bit of combination lock. That's the instrumental one, right?
Or
one of the instrumental ones.
Sure, but yeah, it kind of sounds.
Yes, it is. Yes,
yeah, it kind of sounds like big black, but then there's like psychedelic guitars in there. It's very cool, I think.
Right.
But what do I know? Nothing.
I remember the song now.
Like if this was a drum machine.
Oh, I'm thinking of Lungs era Big Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he has the more the more high-end stuff.
And then, hey, let's throw a funky bass line in there because we can.
This is a funky band, man. Even the funny thing about Fugazi is that the Joe Lally never stopped making funky bass, like super funky bass lines. It's as funky this album as it is in the very beginning, except everything else has just gotten super crazy and like interplay. I don't know what the proper version of that word is, but like everything else got so complex and intertwined and intricate that it doesn't feel funky. It just feels like Fugazi.
Yes.
It's a very strange thing to turn funk into your own kind of identity. But
also, Bayou, I made the mistake of thinking that was a boring song. I'm glad to report I am wrong. It's not a boring song. It is excellent journey it takes you on.
It's a good song, very quiet, very subdued. Joe Lally's first song.
I was going to say
first song performance.
It's because you're so used to these like pretty, I guess, out there unique vocalists,
very distinct vocalists.
And then it's like, what are these normal?
Joe Lally has the most calm,
and it's totally fine,
easygoing, relaxed.
It works.
It's like it fits his personality. He's like a relaxed dude. Just all right. I'm just gonna sing this song for you real quick. He only sings about like 3 songs in their entire discography, but like he's fine. He's cool.
And then keeping up the great closers, Long Distance Runner,
fucking great.
The playlist is just gonna be all
closers,
ending tracks.
It's incredible. Like the bass line is great, but like those twisted ass beautiful guitar lines on top of it. It's like a lot of it is also version. Like the bass line from Version, it's reused here as well.
I didn't notice that.
But it obviously it's not the same song. But and no one knowing this, there's no clarinet on there. Thank Christ. But it's slower. It's definitely more on the kind of dark and uneasy songs from In on the Kill Taker. It's definitely more on that end.
Yeah.
Doesn't sacrifice any grooviness to do so though.
No,
it's still a very groovy song. Great.
Very rarely does Fugazi sacrifice anything.
Yeah, and also on the intro of the first song, those noisy kind of, I guess those are actually experimental parts. They're just like kind of spliced in between songs. Kind of, they're not like
fully developed songs.
And honestly, like I always forget they're even there. Like they come across more quirky than experimental. It's like, all right, this is a little thing they just threw in the beginning with like, you hear them, rehearsing or something for like 5 seconds and then it cuts to something else. Stuff that just like, it's kind of inconsequential. But one thing that I noted on this album, I mean, it could be applied to many albums, but here for sure, their ear for feedback and dissonant guitar notes.
It's almost Surgeon-like.
It is on par with like Kurt Cobain, with like implementing a feedback sound as a melody, not literally a melody, but just as a soundscape, as a texture. You hear bands do that badly and it fucking sucks. Like every band in the 90s that copied Drive Like Yehu, where like they all try to do that feedback thing. Like
this ends up messy or
annoying,
uncoordinated, or
ear piercing, or if it's produced badly, it literally fucking hurts and you have to turn it down. Fugazi is just like experts at it. It comes across as musical every time. It's crazy. Great album. But anyway, time to move on.
We got 3 left. We're doing it.
Hell yes. This is 1998 and hits.
I love this song,
Great song.
Instantly.
Oh, so good. What was that, piano? And right, it's going to come up right now.
Okay.
Right here. Never mind. Sorry.
Weird vocal choices when you get to it, though.
Here. Yeah, that's piano.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that bass.
This song.
So good.
It's fucked me up, fam.
Yeah. We're definitely waiting for the vocals.
Just gonna
Definitely.
listen to the whole
I
song.
know. But we have to. It's so weird.
This is one of those songs I wish was longer, but also it's brilliant keeping it short.
Can't ask for more, so I prefer.
And that's like tropical almost.
Yeah.
Everything.
Some tropical hot dog flavored water.
Absolutely. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but absolutely.
Oh, I think I just combined a Beefheart song with a Limp
that's
Bizkit
right.
song.
That's pretty good. Okay. That's right. And hits.
You know, people thought it was called that because they were going to break up after this.
That's right.
But like me and Mike have been telling you, it's because at the end of the records, that's where all the hits
That's all the hits are.
It's us.
Hell yeah. This I feel is their difficult record.
This in a lot of ways is more softer, mellow
In many ways it is.
Fugazi, but like I said earlier, that part of the band really speaks to me and I really enjoy it.
I enjoyed this one, probably one of the least. I heard this one the last, maybe out of all the albums in life. You know, I heard all these albums before. And I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was everything the opposite that I had in my mind of what this album was going to be. So the production is more like In on the Kill Taker. It's bigger, spacier. Every single track on here sounds as though it was written while jamming. Everything has a very improvisational feel to it. Everything feels super live. Everything like they record all their albums live, I'm pretty sure, but this one feels like, all right, here's a recorder, play the song, and now we're done. Like every song feels that way.
I feel like this is like some of the best playing Brendan does.
Oh, he's amazing on here.
Yeah,
he's really good.
This is the Brendan album. The bass playing for the first time kind of takes a backseat on this.
There's a lot of interesting choices on here.
Not that it's like boring, but I feel like on top of Brendan being the best, and we've talked about guitar riffs, but I just feel like it's more guitar driven.
There's a lot of weirdness on here too. Like the writing, it takes a lot from the last album where it will turn a very strange, dissonant sounding thing into a full thing. They'll build it up to this giant thing. Here, they're just weirder. They're weirder, and like songs like Closed Captioned, which I like a lot. I like them as they go on. Like those main hooks, I fucking don't like them at all.
I think it's the relationship with these songs is weird because they reappear. You get the demo versions on the next album that we'll get into.
Yeah.
But like some songs like Floating Boy, I'm not like the biggest fan of that. And I guess I'm spoiling a little bit, but I very much like the instrumental.
Right. So Floating Boy, it takes the simplest, most average bass line and turns it into this long, kooky acid trip.
Yes.
Very, like a lot of the songs, this is the longest album. It's under 50 minutes, but close. Still not very long, but still. And I would say as a whole, that song comes to mind specifically, but as a whole, the closest this band gets to psychedelic, because there's so much of we're going to end the song with a long jam kind of thing. Typically not a fan of that in music.
No, you aren't.
I am not.
No surprise.
Oh, amazing.
I love that riff. I love the no quarters vocals.
Yeah, the water. It sounds like you're underwater.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Led Zeppelin no quarter.
Yeah.
Those vocals. And again, amazing drum playing on that track.
So good. I think it's one of the most digestible tracks on here for sure.
And even though I'm hot as hell, I'm going to hit the audience with a little No Surprise.
Hell yeah. So good.
Oh.
Dude, talk about funk. This is funky.
If someone doesn't like this song, I don't want to be friends with you.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. And like, you never know, with a lot of Fugazi songs, you never know where they're going to end up. This one, you don't know where it's going to end up.
Yeah.
It goes fucking...
We're just giving y'all a taste. You can listen to it.
Yeah, when Ian's vocals come in, it's the most satisfying, catchy thing. I want to hear it all day.
Five Corporations, the most upbeat, angry song on the album.
I don't remember it.
God damn you.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
this
yeah,
is
it's a great song.
Yeah, closest thing you're gonna get to a punk song
on this album, absolutely.
Kind of a metal, guitar riff.
You see what I mean about them taking really dissonant riffs? Like those are two completely opposing notes.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be hooky, but it still kind of is. Another example of that is Foreman's Dog, which has like the ugliest guitar lines, but it just works. And it's almost spooky sounding. It just really fits together. I got to talk about, before I forget, Arpeggiator.
Dude, I love the way the guitars and the bass play off each other. We were talking about the instrumental tracks. I don't think they even have a bad instrumental.
No way. They're all really great. This one actually doesn't sound like any of the other ones, really.
It definitely has a unique aspect that makes
very driving, very. It's always got that like very like constantly throughout the whole thing. It's called arpeggiator. So what the notes they're hitting is literally a chord, but just broken. Arpeggio is a chord that's broken up into notes. And the way it's done, it's like, fuck, man. Great arrangements too. Like that's a very simple melody that they're playing on that, but just the way they break it up and they stop and start and they fucking bring in the bass doing the guitar line now instead of the guitars. The guitars are now doing something completely different. It's just all very smart choices.
Yes.
And last but not least, Pink Frosty. So quiet, so creepy.
Yes, it is a really enjoyable song.
Yeah, beautiful in an ugly way. Phenomenally bizarre changes and sections and all that stuff. Good album, but I would say it's very tough. Fugazi newcomers don't start here.
I think if I had to rank them, this would be it'd be up there.
Really? Definitely on the lower spectrum for me. It's just spacey. I know you like spacey, but for Fugazi, man, I don't think I like it for Fugazi.
Give me all the space.
All the space.
All the space.
You're a wonderful social distancer. You have all the space. But I do like how you never have any idea where a song is going. I like that in music generally, but here it's just fucking endlessly interesting. Like endlessly interesting, but I think their weakest writing out of all their albums, like the weakest written. But possibly some of the most fascinating arrangement wise. Crazy stuff. Anyway, next album.
So much so that you get to hear a lot of these songs
again. This is the soundtrack to the Instrument documentary. This is 1999's Instrument.
So you're talking.
Following is for reference only.
This is Pink Frosty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. First track on this one.
So if it's demo, it's basically an instrumental version. And a lot of bands, sometimes you hear instrumental versions of songs, but it's like, well, it's clear this was built around lyrics.
Yeah.
You don't get that here.
You do
they
not.
still work great.
A lot of them work even better, I feel like.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like the playing is a little sloppy, but not like in a bad way. It's a little sloppier than the previous version, but it's still...
It's sloppy. It almost plays to that effect, or it's done so, or it sounds sloppy in the sense that it's very moody. Everything is very moody, so it doesn't come across as like they're doing it wrong.
Yes.
It just sounds, it's part of the overall aesthetic. So most of this is instrumental.
Yes.
Most, like 98% of this is instrumental.
More like slint.
Very slint. Yeah, very slint. God, I love slint. Okay, so we're not going to get much from that one. But that's literally just one tiny, not representative example of what's on this album. Also worst. But
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Just because the repeating.
It's the repeating. And also it doesn't really flow like an album because it's not an album. It's a soundtrack, but it's treated like an album so much that I feel like I have to treat it like an album.
Yeah, I find the album like oddly relaxing.
Yeah.
And even though I just heard a lot of these songs, it didn't feel repetitive.
No.
So that's why I couldn't do it.
It's still fascinating, and it's I don't want to say meditative because a lot of it does get pretty wild, but for the most part, it's like you could leave it on the background and it's really relaxing.
It's great studying music.
Yeah.
How do you say arpeggiator?
Arpeggiator, yeah.
Maybe I don't know how different it is, but to me, the reverb feels way more.
Oh, the arpeggiator would it have? I mean, this version it's a little slower, but the drums have a flanger effect on them, which is really fucking annoying to me.
To me, it puts it in krautrock.
That's a good put it on.
It sounds like a krautrock song on this version of it.
I feel like stupid that we're putting on this version instead of the original, and the original was like complete.
And we did it with Pink Frost. Whatever.
Whatever. Imagine it way faster, and that's what the original sounds like.
But that's cool that they're very different.
Yeah. You're right. Very krautrock. Yeah. That's it. Absolutely.
Trios, I love that sinister bass. Who would be like, hey, this funky instrument, and make it sound evil.
Joe fucking Lally, that's who. What else? Because
Turkish disco is fun.
I hate that bass line is so annoying. But here's the thing: how much I really appreciate that song is because that song was where it kind of clicked in my head. Like, yeah, Ian and Guy are just phenomenal people at layering. Mm-hmm. Like Joe is doing this bass line that I genuinely don't like, but they start adding these fucking weird lines to it. And it's like, this is actually pretty cool now.
There's aspects of the song that remind me of the funk band ESG. Mm-hmm. So I think that's another reason.
All right. It's pretty funky. Funky. Afterthought activates tingly feelings in me. I don't know. I wish it didn't. It's kind of cheesy.
Nice.
Speaking of cheesiness, goddamn, I'm so tired.
I'm so tired is my theme song for 2020. And back in the day, I hadn't heard this album because I think it's not listed in like
canon
sometimes
albums.
Sometimes it's not listed. And then this little project called Fugazi came out.
Fugazi,
where they mash up Wu-Tang over Fugazi, and it's beautiful. Really, I feel like it was made for me. And they're I'm spacing on what Wu-Tang song it was, but it worked. It worked so beautifully.
With I'm So Tired?
It was like they were made for each other.
Really?
And whoever made I'm sleeping on who made it.
That is fascinating. Weird. Because I mean that song it's a solo piano ballad sung by Ian. It's like it's the most sappy, cheesy, but it's embarrassingly charming to me.
Would it be weird if I played some Fugazi?
Play this one and then play the Fugazi.
Okay.
So
I don't know how I'm going to do that because I have to go on YouTube.
Oh, that might be a pain in the ass.
Hold on. What if I go in reverse? What if I go Fugazi?
All right.
Fugazi, and then. So the Fugazi version is called Sleep Rules Everything Around Me. So it's Cream over I'm So Tired. Oh, wait, there might be a stupid ad. Let me turn it down. I turned it down.
Okay.
Skipping ad.
I grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side. Staying alive was no job, had second hands. Moms bounced on old men, so then we moved to Shaolin Land. A young youth, you're rocking the go-to, no goose, only.
Why does it work? I think it fucking works.
It actually does work.
This son, rolling with this one and that one, pulling out gats for fun. But it was just
Was that Method?
That's Raekwon.
That's Raekwon. I don't know why I thought it was Method. Method's way more.
Mathod.
Now put on the I'm So Tired.
So yeah,
I gotta say, man, Raekwon has got a much better voice than Ian, and that's. I love Ian's voice, but this is very much a.
It should have been sorry, what's the bass player?
Huh?
What's the bass player?
Joe Lally?
Should have been Joe.
It should have been Joe singing this for sure. Imagine it was Guy. It's still cute. I like it. It's very cute. It's charming.
Yeah, my love for that song's very much tied
Yeah.
to Fugazi. So
You know what? I like this version of Rend It better than the original.
I agree.
I
agree.
Creepy, real creepy and quiet. It's fucking claustrophobic as shit, dude. It sounds like someone's stalking you. And Guy is not like wailing. He's like slowly speaking. It's very creepy. It's pretty psychedelic.
Little Debbie has funny hardcore. It's weird because he didn't sing like that in Minor Threat, but it's almost like somebody parroting like the jock.
Yeah, like New York hardcore. It sounds like someone's parroting. Yeah, I like it. It's funny to me.
It's heavy for this album.
Yeah, it's one of the few tracks with vocals on here for sure. I forgot to mention, I keep forgetting to mention things about previous albums. On End Hits, there was actually some studio effects, and that's we were saying, that's pretty rare. There was like delay and where the fuck is there? I'm already losing my notes here. They
do it in such a way it's only noticeable to nerds, though. It's not it's not like a Beatles Sgt. Pepper thing.
Yeah, on the last time it was mostly like delay here and there, some wah effects on the distortion, various soundscapes, clearly like just light dabbling. Here it's like, okay, these are demos, go to town and make them weird. And that's a lot of that. There's a lot of studio stuff on here. Like like this demo of Closed Caption, I fucking love how it starts out. It starts out so goddamn good. And then the second half, they just throw two drum tracks on top of each other and just like, okay, now you're just going to play drums for the next 3 minutes.
The Closed Caption is quite the journey. It's the demo version. Yeah.
The second half is rough, man. But what else? I don't know. It's like mostly, first of all, obviously, like we said, mostly instrumental, a lot of half songs, ideas, demos of other songs, studio effects. It's like mostly half written because it is half written. It's supplementing the movie. But
it's so weird how a half written Fugazi song is better than other bands' full songs.
They're just better. They're just better at it. This is as much as a lot of them sound incomplete. It's still pretty. I'm so glad it saw the light of day. They still sound unique enough. Each of them still feels like distinct as shit. Nothing blends into each other so much. I'm not like left bored. It didn't feel too long. Pretty good worst album for me, but it's still very much like a sore thumb. Like, this is clearly not a full Fugazi album. It doesn't feel like it.
I'm not angry at that. I get it.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, but experimentation for sure is at a peak here. Like,
because they're demos. You can be. Yeah,
they do not get any crazier than this. If you're cool with this, you'll be cool with everything. But we're on to the last album, possibly last album forever for Fugazi. Yes. But who knows? This is 2001's The Argument.
Should I skip the intro and go?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's by process of elimination. I don't know if this is a hot take that I'm dropping.
I don't know what's going to happen on this one. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen on this. Who knows what can happen on this one? All I know is I fucking love this song.
So good.
Oh my. Y'all need to just listen to this.
It's already sweaty in here.
Yeah. Let's get sweatier.
I'm going to gush. It's going to get way wetter in here.
Way wetter.
On the morning of the first eviction, carried out the wishes of the landlord and his son. The furniture's out on the sidewalk next to the family.
Such absolutely genius guitar lines in this song.
It's another song about gentrification, so it echoes back to instrument the song.
You hear what they're doing here? Once again, taking unusual melodies, putting them in the context of something funky, and it becomes beautiful.
Yes, and yeah, the layering and arranging.
Yeah, like this riff is such an odd riff, but it just somehow comes together at this really pleasant thing. God damn. Okay. Same time.
Same
3,
time.
2, 1. Best
and personal favorite for this guy.
Best personal favorite for you. Just best for me.
Much like ISIS, and we said it, a band that this gets better and better.
Yep.
But this logically.
Yeah.
But even not logically, the songwriting.
How much better this album is than pretty much everything. It's crazy.
Also, I will always be amazed at bands. Bands are supposed to fall off.
Yeah.
And so for me to say a band released their best album at the end of their career it makes it even more phenomenal.
Yeah. So this, man, for many years is my favorite. And I thought Repeater would be my best, but it just, because this one, like, I have problems with this one's pacing. That's the only reason why I didn't give it my favorite.
Yeah.
That's the writing, I think, is the best out of every album. The writing is never been better. Every song is so fucking unique. Like, no two songs sound the same, and each one has so many fucking highs. Like, every single one's a journey. Every single goddamn song is a journey. It's crazy.
And you're like, that's a good opener. I need a breather. No, full disclosure. This pure chaos.
Beautiful chaos. Where that song ends up,
and then,
gorgeous.
And then you get kind of like a hooky main course.
Yeah.
And
the solos in Full Disclosure are absolutely just so lovely.
I'm going to go over my 10 song limit for sure on the playlist. This whole
album's going to be on there, dude. Epic Problem.
Fuck. Yes, it's kind of a throwback song.
It kind of is a little bit. It has that vibe of some of the earlier stuff.
They even do Stop.
Yeah.
On that song.
Literally says Stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
That outro for Epic Problem is one of the most satisfying, cathartic closers in any song. It's just, I'm getting goosebumps. Since we're just doing this fucking song by song, Life and Limb.
Dude, that song, let me tell you what I appreciate about that song. It's a creepy song about violence, but it's sinister. It's not violent music.
No.
So it makes it even more disturbing.
Very sinister. It's both scary and gorgeous. First time and last time we get female vocals.
Oh yeah.
And they're very well done. They're only in the background. They're very light. It's just obviously well done. Like we're saying, that solo, it's so simple, but it's God damn, it pierces the soul.
The kill.
Joe's back on this one.
Yeah, the kill, very similar to Life and Limb, where it's haunting music about violent situations. This time, military and war and.
So Joe sings on that one. It's extremely dubby. The bass is extremely dubby. Very. If that is any indicator of that weird noise that I just made, but that's where it kills the momentum for me. As much as I love the song, I don't like it that early in the album because it's so fucking like.
Going out of order, I will say the last 3 songs are not as strong as the rest of the album.
Disagree.
All right.
That's how much I love this album. Truly, this is one of my favorite albums of all time. This, I think. So I remember what happened when I was a kid. I bought Repeater and I was like, oh yeah, they're a great band. I love this band now. And then I got this one. I went way out of order and I heard this. I was like, this is the most incredible thing I've ever heard.
Nice.
So that's why I started going back and like, I think that's when I heard other albums like, oh, this is not nearly this as good. But like,
I also listened to them out of like,
this is one of the most musically advanced things for 2001 period.
it's insane.
It's completely bananas. And with a song like Strange Light, which is a fucking anomaly in Fugazi's discography. It is the most un-Fugazi song. It is haunting as fuck.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. I have no words. That's how much I love this song. It's just, Guy he's a fucking master now. I fucking love Guy now.
Night Shot is weird because there is guitar like shredding. Like some of the parts are like shredding parts.
I hear some bass doing some crazy shit too.
Yeah.
I think it's bass or maybe a synth. It's probably bass. Night Shop, that would have been my weakest song, except for that fucking outro comes. That entire acoustic section. Also, they're doing acoustic guitars now, which is another new thing for them. It's just completely amazing.
Oh is the only song that features all three of them singing.
Really? Does it?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. I don't know if they just felt like they didn't have the right arrangement for it before, but yeah, that's interesting.
That song takes you on a fucking journey. Like a lot of these songs I've been saying do that, but like there are so many unexpected parts in that song specifically. Starts out, you think it's going to be this fun kind of like wacky, silly, Guy driven experience. And then that chorus thing comes in and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is kind of spooky now. What the fuck? And then at the end of it, it's just those like slide guitars. It sounds like it's just crazy song. The instrumentation on this album is far beyond anything they've ever done. They're actual experiment. This is actual experimentation. It's not just going in the studio and making a bunch of noise. It's literally like what happens
pushing the band into new sounds. And
this is the most progressive album I think they have. And with a thing like Expectator, the dual drumming in the entire intro, I think it might be in the whole song too. Two drummers. I don't know if they're both Brendan Canty. They might have a second drummer doing it.
That's interesting.
I'm going to look that up actually.
What if Fugazi came back with a female vocalist and another drummer? To keep pushing
those boundaries.
Yeah.
I actually put on Expectator because that intro was fucking, what a great drum intro. Yeah. Oh, it's Jerry Busher. Jerry Busher does the second drums on Expectator, and Epic Problem.
Who's that?
Jerry Busher he originally wanted to be their drummer, but he wasn't he didn't have enough experience. At the very beginning, he was like a roadie for them for like 8 years. He was a roadie for them.
Lots of callbacks on this album.
Oh yeah.
Well, not sounding callbacky at all.
No. Oh, on there's female vocals also on Full Disclosure. That is Kathy Wilcox. That is Guy Picciotto's wife. She's from Bikini Kill, I think.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Goddamn. And then more comes. The bass comes in and becomes an amazing song. But what else is new? This is an amazing fucking album.
I think unless you want to talk about the title track, we pretty much went over
damn near every song. I love the title track. I think the title track is one of the best closers. It's really fucking beautiful, especially like that. There's like a middle section where it sounds almost like a music box. And I don't know how they got that effect, but it sounds wonderful.
I think the title track is the strongest of the last three tracks.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I absolutely love the title track. That song always resonated with me, and then it also has like this weird kind of dual meaning for me, just because it's the last song on the last album, and how great that song builds up, because most of it is pretty fucking mellow, and then it has this gradual build, and then it fucking ends on this giant loud high note that's really sing-alongable. Ian singing it, so it feels like just like a bookend, where he sings the last one, and the waiting room was the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that's beautifully put.
Yeah, thank you. I love it. This is such a fucking incredible album. I couldn't recommend it enough. I would say everyone should start here, really, but it's just so deep, and it's not really the Fugazi that we've grown with. You still know it's them, but it is such a departure musically and instrumentally. that it's kind of like,
I love it so much. I listen to Fugazi out of order. I don't care what people do. Fucking listen to it.
just don't listen to 13 songs first, please. Just don't.
Or do, because a lot of people do.
But they fucking have bad taste. Don't do that. Yeah, I don't know what else I could say about this that I haven't already said. Like, I didn't read my fucking notes. I just know all this stuff. That's how I feel about it. I have such strong feelings about this album. My whole life I felt this way.
Yeah, and then they toured a little bit, played their last show in London, and they've disappeared off the face of the earth. We kind of shot our load.
Well, they still do. They have their own projects. Like,
Yeah, they just came out with it was
Ian and Joe and Ian's wife Amy. He was already in a project with her called The Evens. She was from
how's this band pronounced?
Fire something. Oh, that's Corky.
Corky.
Corriky.
Yeah.
Corriky. I don't know what the hell it means.
Corky.
What the hell is the name of her band? I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, they came up with that album this year. This year it was postponed a little bit because of COVID, but it released in June, I believe. And
I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah, it's with Amy Farina as her fucking name.
If I'm gonna listen to something on the way home, should I listen to Embrace or this?
Oh, or Corky?
Yeah.
I have not heard Corky yet, so I'm gonna say Embrace. Listen to Embrace.
I'm gonna go the opposite way.
Okay, all right. So fuck me. That's what Alex just said. I'll listen to Embrace then, even though I already heard it. I won't listen to Embrace right now. But goddamn. There's nothing bad I could say about this band. They're just the greatest. They're one of the greatest. They're just the greatest.
We kind of blew our load about reunion speculation and all that in the beginning. So yeah, I think we pretty comprehensive.
I agree. And I hope you all enjoy this very thorough look at a band that is held up so fucking wonderfully and that is beloved for all the reasons that we named and because we keep gushing about it. But let's recap anyway.
Worst, least favorite, Steady Diet of Nothing. Best, personal favorite, The Argument. 13
songs, least favorite, I stand by it. Personal favorite, Repeater, stand by that as well. And worst, Instrument, because you know, it's my way of copping out because it's not really a kind of album.
Yeah,
can't really call any of them the worst.
I mean, we did that on White Zombie with the remix.
We also did that, but The Argument, best. It is fucking bliss in music form. But thank you so much for listening and watching. God damn, if you want to support us, subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, fucking tell a friend or not. It doesn't matter. It's okay. We're here. We love you anyway, I suppose. Please follow me on Instagram at Pope Jesse Ventura and Alex at
Mother Puncture,
where we do post rather, the artists that we're currently listening to. So in case you want to be a part, send emails, DMs about that artist, you can do that. Also, if you want to suggest an artist for us to cover, you can send all of that to everyalbumever@gmail.com. Spotify playlist in the description of wherever you're listening or watching. There will be 7,000 songs because that is how much we love this band. But anyway, I am definitely choosing Last Song. I was thinking about it long and hard. I'm abducting this because of how much I love this band.
I feel like my Fugazi fandom was just thrown under the bus.
Alex, it was thrown under the bus. It was beaten with a bat. It was kicked like Joe Pesci in Casino.
You didn't even, I was going to say, it's obvious I was going to bow out gracefully and say,
I took that from you, Alex. Yeah, I took that from you.
I was going to say, it's very obvious Mike is way more passionate. I love them. I was just going to bow out and give it to you, but you just threw me under the bus. You didn't even
What I did was I took Alex's lunch money when he was already not going to eat lunch. I said, give me that, Alex. This is mine. This is mine now.
Crumpled up paper, spray painted. Mike was here.
I'm sorry, but you are for sure getting like the next 3 ones in a row.
Oh, no.
So
So
I was thinking about this a lot. And do I put a song that I like a lot? Do a song feel is appropriate?
Iconic song. Yeah, we think about these things sometimes.
We sure do. And I have to go with one that just feels the best.
That's what I recommend doing.
That is going to be Shut the Door from Repeater.
Nice.
So thank you so much for listening and watching, everybody. See ya.
Or Shut the Front Door.